In this video, let us discuss about the built-up columns using batten plates with bolt connection. Let me go through the question for you. So this is a simple problem. A batten column of 10 meter long is carrying a factored load of 1150 kilonewton. So there is a column, and this built-up column is actually formed by batten system. Ante there are two members or three members. Of course, we are not sure of that. Let me go through the remaining question. The column is restrained in position but not in direction at both ends. That is, both ends are hinged. Design a built-up column using channel sections back to back. So this is how the column is. Okay, back to back connected with batten plates. Okay, so now this column is taking a load of 1150 kilonewton and this total length is 10 meter. So when we say this batten column, you have to understand this is a built-up column. Okay, and design a batten plates using bolt connection. He clearly mentioned that. If it is not given clearly mentioned in the question, you can use bolt or weld. And remember, design of batten plates using bolt connection or rivet is same. Okay, rivet anna bolt anna same. Okay, the procedure changes nowhere. Okay, everything is same, just same. Instead of bolt, you talk about rivet connection. That's it. Okay, so as I told you earlier, we are going to design this problem and complete this problem in two stages. In the first stage, you are going to design the built-up column. Okay, we need to find the channel sections that come together to form a single built-up sections. We know from the question that two channel sections are going to come back to back to form a section built-up column, but you do not know what is the dimension of that channel section. It can be anything, right? ISMC, IS 200, 300, 250, 350, something, anything can be there. You have to find out. Okay, similar to previous problem in lacing, we have done this previously. And in the second case, what we do is batten system. What should be the dimensions of the batten system, and what should be the distance between the batten plates, and what should be the dimensions, and how this batten system is connected, and how many bolts are necessary if it is a bolt connection to connect this batten plate with the built-up column. You have to do all that thing. So let us start with the first thing, that is column design. Okay, so this is the solution. So let us start with the design of column. You know, the load that is acting on the column is 1150 kilonewton and the length L is equals to 10 meter, that is 10 into 10 to the power of 3. But in this case, I am multiplying with 1 because this L is nothing but L effective in this case, because both ends are restrained in translation but not in direction, right? See in this question, and not in direction but in position. So it is hinged, therefore K value will be 1 and therefore K into L is L. So effective length and length are going to be same. And next thing is, in order to find out the proper section, the equation that we have is P is equals to FCD into cross-sectional area of built-up column. You can say simply this as FCD into A, P. So we know what is P. What should be the, what is the load acting on the column? 1150 kilonewton. So in order to find out the proper section dimensions, I need to know what is the area. So I need to find out area A. But I do not know what is FCD. So simply assume a value. Okay, it is assumed between 125 to 150. So in this case, I am taking 125 megapascal, or this is nothing but 125 Newton per mm square. Newton per mm square. 1 MPa equals to 1 Newton per mm square. So how do you get the area? area is equals to P by FCD. So this is P and this is FCD, and this is the area. So what is this 9200 mm square? This is the area of the total built up column cross section, which is formed with 2 channel sections. So ఇప్పుడు ఒక్కొక్క channel section కి ఎంత ఉండాలి? Each channel section should have, okay, it is not written here, let me write down for you to understand. So each channel section has or should have a minimum of 9200 by 2, isn't it? This is nothing but 4600 mm square. So from the code book I found out that ISMC channel 350 depth, okay, is having an area of 5366 mm square. So this section is just enough, suitable. Okay, you go, this is the minimum area, okay, 46. You can go for higher section, I mean higher area section. And if you come to the remaining properties, these are the properties or the section properties that can be obtained regarding the channel section from the code book or steel tables or code book handbook SP 61 1964 from table 2. Okay, so now I know what is the section I need to use for making this built up column, but that is not sufficient. You know that you need to place these channel sections away from each other by a distance. You have to provide a spacing between the 2 channel sections, right? So of course, as we seen earlier, ISMC 350 is most suited, which has an area of 53.65 centimeter square. You can convert into mm square by multiplying with 100, and you get center of gravity CYY, IX, IY, RXX, RYY, and flange thickness. What is the flange thickness? 13 point. Flange width B 100, thickness of the web 8.1, depth of the section 350. And see here, gauge is taken as 50. Okay, so now we are providing actually more area than required, right? Isn't it? We are providing each channel section, I mean channel section whose area is 5366, so into 2. So this is the area that we are actually providing. Okay, so now let us find out what is the actual FCD. So initially in this step we have assumed the value of FCD, isn't it right? We have assumed the value of FCD to find out the area required, because we have the formula P is equals to FCD into area A. So in order to calculate A, I should know the remaining 2 terms. Okay, so I know P, I assumed FCD, but this FCD which I have assumed is just meant for the finding out the channel sections required. But now I have decided what section to be used, and I know what is the area I am providing for the build up section. So now calculate what is the actual FCD. Okay, so how do you get? This is simple. You can get this FCD. Okay, FCD is obtained by table 9C of IS 800. But in order to find out the FCD, actual FCD, you need to know what is the slenderness ratio of built up section, okay, built up column, and also Fy of steel. Fy of steel is 250, you know that, 250 Newton per mm square in all the cases. You need to know what is the lambda of the built up section. How do you know that? So built up section lambda can be obtained in this way. Lambda is equals to L by RZZ. What is L? L is the length of the column, and whereas RZZ is the radius of gyration about the ZZ axis of the channel section, I mean total built up section. And you may be thinking, how did I got this RZZ value, moment of inertia of the built up section as 136.6. Let me give you this. Okay, let me take this. See, this is how the channel sections are being connected. Actually, channel section is something like this, right? This is the this is the ZZ axis, and this is YY, and this is the ZZ axis of the build-up section, and this is YY. If you notice here, this channel section, individual channel section, has radius of gyration about ZZ and YY, isn't it? And in similar way, for built-up section also, you have RYY and RZZ. Okay. See, this axis A, ZZ, is passing through the centroid of the channel sections, built-up section horizontally, and in this individual case, it is passing through the centroid of this C section or channel section. But in both these cases, RZZ of built up section is going to be RZZ of individual channel section. About ZZ, it is not going to change, but RYY of built up section is not going to be equal to RYY of individual sections. Okay, because the axis has been shifted, but ZZ axis is not shifted, it is passing through the centroid. Okay, initially only this portion and this portion are there opposite, on either sides of Z axis, and when you add another channel, equal proportion of area is added on the both sides of the channel section, so there will be no difference in the RZZ value. So from the previous slide we have seen the RZZ of the individual channel section is 136.6. So you can take the RZZ of the built up section also same. Okay, so that is how I got this RZZ as 136, even though I am calculating the lambda of built up section. Okay, so I got 73.21. Okay, now I know that this slenderness ratio has to be increased by 10%. So 1.1 to multiply chesam, and I got 80.53, and this slenderness ratio should be less than 180. Yes, of course it is, so safe. And the next thing here is, now you need to calculate the FCD. Okay, that is the main objective here at this point, right? So we know what is lambda, that is 80.53, and Fy 250, and this column belongs to class C, buckling class C. This channel section is going to be belonging to channel buckling class C. Okay, how do you decide which this section is belonging to class C? Based on the thickness of the web and width and everything. Okay, we have a table which we have seen earlier from the code book. You can find out the buckling class. The design compressive strength from table 9C of 800 2000 will give you the FCD based on lambda and Fy as 135.2 megapascal. So this is the compressive stress that this built up section can take. So you know that force is equals to stress into area. So compressive force, design compressive force is equals to compressive stress into area. So what is the load that it can take? Compressive stress into area. So compressive stress 135.2 into 10 to the power minus 3 into area will give you in terms of kilonewton, 1451 kilonewton. But the actual load that is coming onto this column section is 1200. So the strength of this column built up section is greater than the load that is acting on it. Therefore, this section is safe. Okay, we can proceed to the next step. Now, we have come to the stage where you need to find out the spacing between these two channel sections. As you can see this figure, this distance is what we call say as S. Yes, so this is S by 2 and this is S by 2 as shown in this figure. Horizontal axis is ZZ, vertical is YY. And to find the spacing between the channel section, IZZ is taken as I minimum, that is I minimum, IYY. So, in this channel case, if this is Y, Z, IZZ is greater than IYY. So, I minimum ante enti ante, what is that? IYY. But in order to find out the spacing between the built up, channel sections in the built up section, what you need to do is you have to consider the I minimum as IZZ value. Okay, IZZ. And don't get confused here. This IZZ we are talking about is built up section. Okay, of built up section. This is of built up section. This is equals to 2 times of IZZ of individual sections. Let me just erase this for you. See, IZZ of built up section is equals to 2 times of IZZ of individual channel section. Okay, so let us come to this part here. So generally, what is the IYY? This is the equation. IYY is equals to 2 times of IYY bar plus A of each section into S by 2 plus CYY whole square. This is something like, this is the moment of inertia of one channel about the centroid plus A H bar square. This is nothing but H bar square. You are used to this equation, isn't it? Okay, this is IYY of the built up section. But in order to calculate the spacing, IZZ is taken as IYY. Sorry, IYY is taken as IZZ. Okay, you have to replace IYY of built up section with IZZ of built up section. So, this value will become IZZ of built up section, isn't it? But as I told you, IZZ of built up section is equals to 2 times of IZZ of individual channel section, right? So, this is how you get 2 into IZZ here, which is equals to 2 into the remaining portion of this equation, 2 into IYY plus A into S by 2 plus CYY whole square. You can easily get the IYY value and CYY value. These are the individual channel sections. See here, of course the denotation is a little bit different as used here. Ikkada IYY bar dash ante individual channel section another. Okay, so see, this is individual, so this is individual IYY. We have already seen the section properties, isn't it, in the previous see 430, right, and CYY as 24.4. So let's substitute those values here. Okay, and you don't know what is the spacing that you need to provide still, isn't it? That is what we are trying to find out here. So put that value, and we know what is IZZ value, that is that what we have seen in the previous slide, and on substitution you will get yes. So let us keep the channel section at a spacing of 220. We are just rounding off, and therefore the spacing between these two and this spacing S is equals to 220 mm. We know the spacing now. So what should we do now? So we have to go with the battens now. So we have completed the first stage. We found out what are the dimensions of the channel section that are forming built up section, and second one, the spacing between the two channel sections. Now you are designing how should we connect these two channel sections with battens, what should be the dimensions of the battens, and you have to perform certain checks. So the spacing of batten according to the clause 773 of IS 800 Okay, 7.7 will contain all about these patterns. Okay, it is very easy to remember, no need to even remember these conditions all. Okay, you can just simply get these from the code book. So స్పేసింగ్ మనం తెలుసుకునేటప్పుడు మనం ఏం చేయాలంటే స్లెండర్నెస్ రేషియో బిట్వీన్ ది ఆఫ్ ది పోర్షన్ బిట్వీన్ ది బ్యాటన్స్ అనేది మనం ముందుగా గమనించాలి. వీ హ్యావ్ టు ఎగ్జామిన్ దాట్. సో వాట్ ఈస్ దట్? దిస్ ఈజ్ ఎ batten 1 and this is batten 2. So between this batten and this batten, this is the portion of the channel section that is there. Okay, of course this channel section is a part of build up section, but this batten here is attached to this individual channel section at this end, isn't it? So now what is the length of this? C. So slenderness ratio C by R minimum. So what you need to find out is C by R minimum. Radius of gyration about YY is minimum. Okay, if you do not know why should we take RYY, simply find out what is the RYY and RZZ of the channel sections. Let me show you here. What is the RYY? I mean, see here, horizontal axis is ZZ, right? So this is RZZ and this is RYY. Which one is minimum? RZZ is 13.66, RYY is 2.83, which is minimum? 2.83 centimeter or 28.3 mm. So RYY is the minimum, so you have to put RYY value here. Okay, and of course it has to be less than 0.7 lambda, that should be checked, and also it should be less than 50. Okay, so these are two conditions here. So we are actually trying to find out what is the spacing that is required between these two channel sections, I mean batten section. C is the unknown, so use that condition. C by RYY, that is slenderness ratio, should be less than 0.7 times of lambda. So you can get C should be less than 0.7 times of lambda into RYY. Okay, so for our case you just take C as 0.7 into lambda RYY. So now put the value of lambda and the RYY, you will get the C. Of course, how do I get this lambda now? So lambda is nothing but here in this case is the slenderness ratio, that is 80.53, which is obtained this slide here, 80.53 slenderness ratio, effective slenderness ratio of the built up section. Okay, so the slenderness ratio of this portion should be less than 0.7 times of lambda of built up section. This is built up section. See, there is a very much chance for you to confuse with the slenderness ratio of individual sections with the batten slenderness ratio and with this built up column slenderness ratio. Okay, we talk about the slenderness ratio of all these terms, so you should get used to this, where we are using which parameter. Okay, so lambda of this portion should be less than 0.7 times of lambda of built up. Of course, lambda of this portion is given by C by R minimum or RYY, which should be less than 0.7 times of lambda built up. Lambda built up is already found out in the previous step, that is 80.53. So C should be less than 0.7 times of 80.53 into this RYY comes on to this side, that is 28.3, and you take this C should be or take equals to, in this case, 0.7 into 80.53 into 28.3. So C is 1595.3. This should be the minimum value. This, so, and also it should be the less than 50, right? So C obtained from this condition is 1415 and C obtained from this above condition is 1595. Take the minimum value, so 1415. So C should be less than this value, isn't it? So C is taken as 1400 mm. So now, of course, we have seen this earlier. What is A, AI, T and L? So A is nothing but S plus 2YY, AI is equals to S plus 2G, where G is gauge, taken as 50 in this case, and T is the thickness which is obtained by 50th part of AI. This is nothing but AI by 50, and L is equals to S plus 2B. So, size of the battens. You know what is the spacing of the battens? No. Find out what is the distance, size of the battens, the thickness, the width and everything. So you have to decide whether it should be a welded connection or a bolt connection before that. So I have decided to connect these battens with the column by using 20 mm bolted connection. So edge distance E is given as 1.5 times of hole diameter. You know hole diameter is 20 plus 2. Okay, diameter of the hole kanda 2 mm extra తీసుకుంటాము, and which is 33, and of course you can take this as 35, and effective depth is S plus 2 CYY. So you will get 268.8 mm, but this should be greater than 2 times of B. Okay, B is already 100. We know that width of the channel section. So 2 times of, is it satisfying? Yes, it is satisfying. Therefore, chosen effective depth is safe. Now overall depth is small d, effective depth with plus 2 times of edge distance E, which is equals to 334.8 mm. And the required thickness of the batten is 1 by 50th of this, right? AI. So this is S plus 2 into G. G is the gauge taken as 50 in this channel section, and which gives you 6.4 mm. So thickness, minimum thickness, this is the minimum thickness that is required. So you cannot take less than this. So you can round it off to 8 mm thick. So we are using 8 mm thick plate. And what is the overall depth? See, this is the section, right? This is the capital D, which is 334.8. You can round off this to 340 mm. So I am providing 340 mm width. And what is the length? It has to be this, S plus 2 times of B. Okay, let me draw this. This is the channel section, right? This is B and this is B and this is S. So total will be S plus 2B. Okay, 220 is S plus 2 into B, 420. So you found out what is the dimension of the batten. Now you need to find out the batten dimensions of intermediate. So you know that the effective depth changes. It has to be taken 3/4 of that for the intermediate batten. So this, and you have to check whether this is greater than 2 times of B or not. It is greater than this, therefore it is good, and you can just round off this to 210. So this is the effective depth, hence effective depth is 210 mm. Overall depth is D plus 2 into E. You can round it off to E to 35. Of course here I did not do that, and it is giving 276 mm. Of course now you can round this off to some value like 300 mm. Okay, so the length of the batten will not change, end batten or intermediate batten same, but as the effective depth changed, the overall depth also changed. It is 300 in this case and 8. So as you can see, in this case the depth is 340, width is of course the overall depth is 340, and in this case it is 300 only, and intermediate battens will be lesser depth will have. Okay, so we found out what is the batten section needed now. but we need to check whether it can resist the stresses induced into the batten due to transverse force. So I told you that when this is the built up column and these are the battens, okay, these are the battens, when this is the shear force V acting, which is 2.5% of axial load, these batten planes are going to share that. Okay, we have two batten planes also here, so each takes half of it. Okay, so but the total V is equals to going to be 2.5%, right? So this is the total transverse shear force. And in the same way, there is also going to be a longitudinal shear, which is equals to Vc by Ns. So now the spacing of the battens, as we decided earlier, is 1400 mm, and let me give you this. See, this is the transverse shear force and this is longitudinal shear force due to movement. Okay, so this is it. The number of parallel planes of battens is 2, isn't it, right? So we have two channel sections connected in this way. We connected a batten here, and of course this goes like this. So we have two planes. When this V is acting in this way, this plane 1 and this plane 2 are going to resist it. So N is equals to 2, as in the case of lacing system. So S is equals to, of course we already found out in the previous, 320 mm. So the longitudinal shear force is going to be 28750 into 1400, 2 into 320, which is equals to 62,891 N. But remember, because of this longitudinal shear force, there is a shear moment that is generated, that is Vc by 2N. So upon calculation, you get this. So how this VL is acting here is this. Of course, this is what is VL. Okay, in this figure it is denoted as VB, but it is VL. Okay, and this is VT. Okay, so now because of this movement, there is also a stresses developed in this, because of the transverse shear force and because of the bending moment. Because of the shear stress, you can easily find out this is the shear force and this is the cross-sectional area of batten. So batten is in this way, right? The length is something like 420, right? Isn't it? 420, and this depth is, this is 340 and thickness is 8 mm. So this cross section is going to be 340 into 8. So that is the area. Okay, this is the shear stress due to transverse shear force. This is the value. And what is the bending stress? 6m by T d square. So how did I get this equation? From this, m by I is equals to F by Y. M is equals to, F is equals to m into Y by I, and F is equals to m by I by Y and m by Z. F is equals to m by Z, and this is where, from where I found out this F. So this bending stress is nothing but this small f. Okay, Z place lo you can put the terms of section modulus value of that section, bt cube by 6, bt square by 6, and you will get this equation. 6 goes up, and upon calculation you got the bending stress as this. And remember, the bending stress should be less than Fy by gamma m naught according to the clause code book, and also the shear stress should be less than Fy by root 3 into 1.1. m0. So it satisfied these conditions. Therefore, the bending stresses and the shear stresses that are induced in the end batten are within the limits. Okay, and for intermediate battens also in same way. The only difference is the cross sectional area of the batten of the intermediate batten is going to change, right? The depth is 300, so the stress is going to change a bit, and the bending stress also, as since D is there in this equation also 300. So it also satisfied. So now let us see how these battens are connected to the built up section by using bolts. Okay, so this is the check that we are doing it. Okay, of course these battens which we have provided will be able to resist these shear stresses and bending stresses, but this is a simple check that we need to perform. And coming to this connection, bolted connection, since we have taken 20 mm diameter as the bolts using, this is a single shear, because see, there is this column channel section and there is a batten here. You are using bolt here. So this bolt is connecting only this plate, batten plate, with the column section. So only one shear plane will be there, so single shear. So single shear formula is this, and A and B is the cross sectional area which is obtained by this equation at the threaded section, thread diagram. Okay, you know that this is the bolt, these are threads here. So if the area at this portion is A, the area at this portion is 0.7 times of A. Because of the threading, there is a decrease in diameter of the bolt at that threading, right? So area is going to be decreased. So this is the equation. And into 400 divided by root 3 into 1.25. Of course, this is the strength of the bolt in single shear. And we also need to find out what is the strength of the bolt in bearing. What is the equation? 2.5 kb dt fu by gamma mb. Kb. So what is kb? Kb is the value, coefficient, reduction factor, that is taken as smaller of these four values. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. In నాలుగింట్లో ఏది చిన్నదైతే ఉంటుందో smallest of these values is taken. Okay, this is E divided by 3 dH, and this is P divided by 3 dH minus 0.25, and this is FUB by FU. FUB is the ultimate strength of the bolt, 400 for 4.6 grade bolt, and FU of the steel, 410. And E and P are obtained from the minimum pitch and minimum end distance E. Okay, so 50 minimum pitch undali, I have taken 60, no problem. Minimum edge distance, end distance should be 33, and I have taken 35, no problem. And so minimum of these values is 0.53. So put that value in here, 2.5 into 0.53. So D is the dia of bolt, and T thickness of batten plate, which is 8 mm, and FU steel ultimate strength 410 divided by 1.25. We are multiplying with 10 to the power of minus 3 in order to convert this into kilonewton. That's it, 69. So minimum of these two values, that is minimum of 45.27 and 60, should be taken as the bolt strength, that is therefore 45.27. So what is the actual force coming on to these bolts? I mean, whatever the force that is present, let me give you this. See here, this is the longitudinal shear force that is acting on the batten. Okay, see, this is the batten, this is the longitudinal shear force act. When this shear force is actually acting on this batten, the shear force is being transferred to the built-up column by the bolts, isn't it? So the bolts are actually experiencing the same shear force. Longitudinal shear force acting on the batten is equal to the shear force acting on the bolt. So that is taken as 62.89 kilonewton. So that is why, in order to calculate the number of bolts, the force acting on the bolt is taken as 62.89 kilonewton or 62891 Newton divided by the strength of each bolt will give you this. So how many bolts you need? You need 2 bolts. Okay, but let us provide 4 bolts to take into account the stresses due to bending moment as well. So as you can see, we found out that we need to use 4 bolts on each side. So these are 4 bolts that are being used, and this is an intermediate and this is end. So the length is going to vary, and the span is going to be 1400, and this is the batten, this is the top view, this is the side view. Okay, so these figures are important. Okay, figures are important, showing all the arrangement of the patterns and everything, bolt connections and everything. Okay, so in the next video we are going to discuss about the welded connection. We are going to consider the same problem, and we are going to use the weld connections to connect the batten with the built up column. Okay, thank you.